Hey Tamers, how are you guys? I have been working for the past week and a half on a very solid Plesiomon deck, and I'm finally confident enough to bring you a high quality deck profile. Let's get into this OTK Plesiomon deck. The Digi-Eggs, you already know we're going to play Gomamon. This is the best Digi-Egg for blue in my opinion now. Being able to have jamming when your opponent has no Digimon with more Digivolution cards. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think the effect is equal or more, not just more. So if your opponent has the same evolution cards as you do, then you will not get jamming. So just be mindful of that. Or of the new Gomamon from BT14, this card is insane. At the start of your main phase, you can trash one Digivolution card of one of your opponent's Digimon, and then this Digimon can't be blocked for the turn. This is awesome because you can choose the card you want to trash. So for example, if you're going against Plesiomon, you could trash the card that gives them protection, which is nuts. And then even if you Digivolve, you still can't be blocked, which is awesome. The inherit effect, opponent's turn, when this Digimon would be deleted, you may play one Gomamon from its own sources. Basically, you just get to play the Gomamon over again, which is really good because now it kind of sets you up. When it gets deleted, it comes back on the board, you get to strip something, and now you get to attack again. You kind of have to get rid of your Digimon twice. Gomamon just has really high play value that this is going to be a staple moving forward in a lot of blue decks. 4 of the promo Gomamons, this one is a promo 004. I don't think there is a reprint for this one yet, and you are not colorblind. I do have 2 proxies because I only have 2. So this Gomamon, the inherit effect is your turn once per turn. When you trash a Digivolution card of one of your opponent's Digimon, gain 1 memory. So we're going to be focusing a lot in this build in trashing. So we're going to be getting the memory back. So when you Digivolve into Plesiomon, you'll actually be playing it for 2 instead of 3, which is really good. And same effect as the Gomamon is the Plesiomon. This is the BT5022. There is no reprint of this one either. And it just has the same inherit. So when you trash a Digivolution card, you gain 1 memory. So I want to be consistent with gaining memory in that sense. It's more of reducing my Digivolution cost for my level 6s. For the champions, they went stupid hard on this artwork for Ikakumon for no reason. I love this so much. When Digivolving, trash 2 Digivolution cards from your opponent's Digimon. When attacking once per turn, until the end of your opponent's turn, one of your opponent's Digimon with fewer, and correct me if I'm wrong, equal or fewer cards than this Digimon can't attack. So it stuns it. Just keep in mind your opponent can still block. And then the inherit is the same as his one attacking. Until the end of your opponent's turn, one of your Digimon with equal or fewer Digivolution cards than this Digimon can't attack. It's good with the Gomamon, you strip, right? And then more than likely you'll have less. And if you don't have less, when you Digivolve, now you basically trash 3 from Gomamon, and then Digivolving trashing 2, you swing, and then you get to stun that Digimon. And then if you have the Bukamon, the Ikakumon will have jamming. I have just about used every blue level 4 card for this slot, and when I was playing with this deck, the biggest thing was being blocked, right? I had the OTK, I was able to win, but Plesiomon, for example, has like 20,000 blockers, so I ran into BT1 Ikakumon. Has not been reprinted. Your turn. This Digimon can't be blocked by your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards. This card is so good. It is so good. The only thing that, if you have this Ikakumon in your sources, the only thing that's gonna stop you is an option card in their security. Aside from that, it doesn't matter how many blockers they have, especially because you're going to be doing a lot of trashing, right? As you Digivolve, and then you have Tamers to help you strip, right? And the new Joe also helps you strip. The inherit for this Ikakumon, you will about 90 to 95% of the time have it, so you will not be blocked. So this champion is so good. The remaining of my champions, I am running 2 Kumamons. You could do Lunamon. However, I think for this build in particular, Gomamon is better because when you Digivolve on top of the Gomamon or the Plesiomon, you're Digivolving for 1 when you strip with this Gomamon, so it's pretty good. Onto the level 5s, let's start with the new ones. 2 of the Zuromon Ace. Card is nuts. 4 cost, counter, obviously Blast Evo. Its on play and when Digivolving are the same. So trash any 2 Digivolution cards from your opponent's Digimon, then return one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards to the hand. I will say this now, this deck lacks in removal, so the Zuromon is there for the removal. You do want them to have a Digimon with no sources, which you'll see with the rest of this ultimate lineup, so you can have the other effects. When I started messing around with this deck, I ended up playing a Veedramon, and it's so nuts because you're able to swing twice, right? One if you have the blue tamer, and then if your opponent tries to swing into it, you just blast into the Zudomon, and you get rid of the Digimon that attacked. So it's kind of like a little trap, right? After attacking twice, and then if they just leave it there, then you just keep swinging. So I did like that. And that Veedramon's also good because it gives you 1000 DP all turns if you have a blue tamer in play. As well as it worked, the Ikakumons that I'm running now just are so much better. It makes the deck just more smooth, and you don't have to worry about, damn, well I can't swing because there's so many blockers. So that is why I went with the Ikakumons. So there we have two of the Zudomon Ace. Again, it's for removal because because this deck does lack removal. And now moving on to the rest of the ultimates. 4 of the Chris Pyodramon. Few different reasons why I'm running this one. Of course, when Digivolving, trash the bottom Digivolution card of all your opponent's Digimon, which kind of sets you up for his Inherit. And the Inherit, your turn, when your opponent has a Digimon with no Digivolution cards in play, this Digimon gains security attack +1. So now we're starting to get into the OTK part of this. With the Plesiomon, you want to have security attack +1, which is why I'm saying you really don't want to get rid of your opponent's board. You want them to have at least one Digimon at all times with no sources. And then to wrap up the level 5s, 2 of the starter deck 2 Were Garurumons, it just has the same Inherit as a Chris Pyodramon. I was running the Arrow Veedramon that has jamming, but because you're dropping a lot of cards, right? You're dropping Tamers, you're dropping Gomamons, you're not going to have 8 cards. And I was running into that problem a lot of times where I had my stack, but he didn't have security attack +1 because I had like 5 cards or 6. I didn't have 8. So really, the Were Garurumon just for the Inherit to keep the consistency of security attack +1. Now onto the boss monsters. The new Plesiomon, which I absolutely just love this card. When Digivolving, trash any 3 Digivolution cards from your opponent's Digimon, which is great because it sets up its one attacking. When attacking once per turn, if your opponent has no Digimon with more Digivolution cards than this Digimon, unsuspend this Digimon. Again, I'm sure it's probably meant to say equal or more, but it doesn't really matter. You're trashing 3 when you Digivolve, setting yourself up. And as I said, if you have the Gomamon and or Blukomon underneath, now it's Digivolving for 2 since you're gaining that memory back. And now you can go ahead and swing. You have security attack +1 with the ultimates. You get to unsuspend, and now you swing again, and that's 4 checks right there. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. The last of the level 6s, Zulong from BT6. This card is so nuts, especially against Brigadramon. If you have this card with Brigadramon and you have that Ikakumon that you can't be blocked, it's GG's. It is so good. So if you don't know, Digivolution cost is for 5, but you make up for it. When Digivolving, trash 1 Digivolution card from the bottom of all of your opponent's Digimon, then you gain 1 memory for each of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards. Even if they just have 2, you gain 2 memory, you're evoing for 3. Your turn, for each Digimon with no Digivolution cards your opponent has in play, this Digimon gains security attack +1. Again, if they just have 2 with no sources, you Digivolve for 3, now you get security attack +2, and now with the ultimate, you get security attack +3. Now you swing, checking for 4, which is absolutely nuts. I've gotten to a point where I was checking security attack +5. It's just so dumb. Again, the Chris Pyodramon helps you as well because you're stripping, and then Zulong you strip again, so you get to strip 2. That way you take more advantage of his one Digivolving, gaining multiple memory. Level 7s, of course, in any OTK deck that's blue or red, you gotta run that Omnimon. As I said, checking security attack for 4 with Plesiomon. Really, you want to chip with rookies, kind of leave them at 4. That's kind of the sweet spot, 4-3. So then that way, you check everything and then you just Omni for game. And then with the Kakumon underneath, you still can't be blocked, which is just simply amazing. So that's really it. If you don't know what this card does real quick, when Digivolving, you get Blitz. When Digivolving, unsuspend this Digimon. So again, if you ended up Digivolving into a Zulongmon, you're at 0. You checked for security attack +3, +4, +5, whatever. And now you just Omni for game. Because you do have Blitz, even if you leave him at 4, you get to unsuspend from his one Digivolving, and then you get Blitz, and then GG's. Really good. This card also does have protection, right? So all turns if an opponent's effect will delete this Digimon or return it to its owner's hand or deck, you may prevent it from leaving play by trashing a level 6 Digimon card in its sources. I think a lot of people forget he has built-in protection, so that's also good. but again, you're just using it as a finisher. Let's work our way into the Tamers, and we'll start off with the new Joe. On play, trash one Digivolution card of one of your opponent's Digimon. This is nice because now you're playing it for 2 instead of 3, right? Initially you'll play it for 3, but then when you play it, you get to tap, and then its other effect kicks in. Your turn, when a Digivolution card of an opponent's Digimon is trashed, by suspending this Tamer, gain 1 memory. So now you go back to the stack of Plesiomon and or Gomamon, you digivolve, you strip a source. Now you gain a memory from the rookie, and then you gain another memory from Joe. So you could potentially digivolve to Plesiomon for 1. There is times where you're not gonna be able to strip, so that's why I'm only running 2, because if you don't strip or you can't strip, then Joe's kind of a dead card, right? You just have a blue Tamer on the field, kind of just good to hybrid, and that's pretty much it. Kind of build up if you need to that way. I do not want to get memory choked, and you only need 2 Davises. You're getting a lot of memory back when you strip, but just starting off at 3 is always good. You're able to go to rookie up to mega sometimes, and then on play, reveal top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 blue and or green Digimon, and then put the rest in the bottom. He is also here to help me search into the pieces that I need. Last but not least, Sora and Joe. Tamer is very good. I did run it at 3, I did cut it down at 2, so now we are just running 6 Tamers in total. Start of your turn, if your opponent has a Digimon with no Digivolution cards in play, gain 2 memory. Really important, if your opponent does not have a Digimon, you do not gain memory. Your turn. When you attack with a blue Digimon, you may suspend this Tamer to trash up to 2 Digivolution cards from the bottom of one of your opponent's Digimon. I use the Sora and Joe to help you maintain the jamming with the Bukamon. And if you use the Sora and Joe to strip, and you have the Plesiomon, now you gain a memory for stripping, so it's also good. This Tamer gives a lot of pressure to your opponent, especially like D-Brigade or like Lugamon or anything that, you know, they kind of swarm the board, right? If they're dropping rookies or level 4s or anything like that, because now if they don't digivolve, you're going to get that extra 2 memory, and that could be very deadly for them. So it's good to keep the pressure on your opponent as well. Last but not least, let's run through the option cards, and starting off with Mental Training. I'm not going to spend too much time talking on it because every build is playing them right now, right? So it's just more to help you go through your deck, right? You reveal 2 cards, add a blue card among them, return the rest to the bottom, and then after you play it, then following turn, you can trash it and reduce the Digivolution cost by 2. Just keep in mind, when you use these training cards, you have to digivolve as soon as you trash it. It's not a pending effect. It's you have to resolve it then and there. And then because I am only running 2 Davises, this is crucial because if they leave me at 1, you could digivolve into a champion for free, or you could digivolve into an ultimate for 1, or Plesiomon for 1, or a Zulongmon. It could help you with that as well, right? You reduce it by 2, and then his digivolving, you get to reduce it even more by gaining memory back for every Digimon your opponent has with no sources. Last but not least, it took me so long to play around with this option card, and I don't know why, but oh my goodness, Wave of Reliability is so damn good. My goodness. Play cost of 2. Trash any 2 Digivolution cards from your opponent's Digimon. Then if you have a Tamer with Joe Keto in its name, choose one of your Digimon. If your opponent has no Digimon with more Digivolution cards than that chosen Digimon, unsuspend it. I just want to throw this out there real quick. It works for Sora and Joe because it has Joe Keto in its name. Really nuts. And even if you don't have Joe, it's a good way to strip your sources. And then if you have the Buluko or the Gomamon, now you play it for a play cost of 1 as opposed to 2. So it's a good way to choke. It's also, of course, what it's meant to do, help you strip sources from your opponent. The security effect is busted as well. You get to activate the card's main effect and then you add it to your hand. This is cheaper. This can be cheaper than going hybrid for game, because if you're at 1 and you can't hybrid for game, you play Wave of Reliability, get to strip something, play it for 1, and you unsuspend a Digimon, and then you get to swing for game. I was running it at 3, but you're not always going to have Joe on it, and then the security effect puts it in your hand anyway, so 2 is kind of the sweet spot for me. I am having a lot of fun playing with this deck. Try this out, let me know what you guys think. Check out the Warbond if you guys haven't looked at that. And my next video will be a Titamon deck, and I'm super excited to share that with you guys as well. So if you guys are not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in that video.